Sunday, June 12th, 2016. The time, 02:03.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
In the Pulse in Orlando.
My friend got shot. They're in the bathroom.
There's a lot of dead people.
There's multiple people in there.
Shooting, and there's a lot of people dead. He said he can't talk.
I couldn't feel my legs. I tried to get to the exit. I was dragging myself to the exit. I couldn't feel my feet.
The music cut off and it went silent, and all you heard was gunshots. Instantly, I knew right there that this was bad. We're trapped in here. Just as I thought, he came and he started laughing, and then he just started shooting through the door, and everybody fell to the ground like all at once.
Felt heat all over my body, just heat. But I didn't know exactly where I got shot, but I was holding my stomach most of the time.
The last thing I remember, they were carrying me by all the limbs, and they took me into the back of the truck.
3 hours of terror overnight, multiple shootouts, hostages.
Just really can't describe the feeling right now. It's, being back out here, I mean, I haven't stepped on this property since that night. Ones that were showing signs that they were responsive, I would talk to them. I said, hey, I'm here to help you out. Just hang in there, hang in there.
All I remember was waking up in the middle of the surgery room. And I just remember looking back and forth and just seeing blood and bodies next to me, basically. I was trying to take in any drop of air I could get. I remember I was just vomiting blood like crazy. My whole body was just covered in blood.
It was so loud, and I just remember definitely hearing all the doctors. You could hear them, you could hear that they were frantic, you could hear all the patients screaming.
The magnitude of what came in, I don't think that any of us were prepared for.
We see a lot of gunshots and stabbings. This was different in that he had both high velocity and low velocity firearms. And the high velocity carry a lot more destruction of the tissue with them.
You have to not be distracted by the size of the wound and look at how the patient is doing.
This was on a scale far beyond what we ever expected to have to deal with.
I went into the family room and I said, can I have your attention? I said, I'm gonna put my email address up and I want you to send me a photograph of who you're looking for. To constantly see pictures of people, but please help me find my mother. She's the mother of 11. And she's out with my brother. She was out with my brother who's gay. Can you help me find my father, my uncle?
You hear him reading names and conditions of the patients that we had here.
Next, Brian Garabello, critical. Paula Blanco, stable.
You hear sighs of relief. You hear sighs of anguish. I mean, one of the things that we learned was you need to have someone with a clinical background staying in the family rooms because people would faint. When the list was read, we said we have 4 here that we haven't yet identified. And then all the families were like, well, what about mine?
A memory that I will never get out of my head. It's the picture of 5 really clean, white, shiny medical examiner vans. And one at a time in synchrony, one backs up and leaves and goes out to Orange Avenue, and another one backs up and goes out. There's 1 or 2 people in each one of these vans, and it's over just like that. It's 6 a.m. and it's just over like that for them?
Every patient that made it into the OR to have surgery survived. Every single one.
We took in 35 alive, and we still have 35 alive.
No patients have succumbed to their injuries since the initial 9 patients who came to us at the time of the shooting. All of the patients since arrival to the hospital are still with us.
I would say drill. I would say practice. Have a plan, okay? If you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail.
There was a tremendous amount of preparation. There's a tremendous amount of training I don't know how to explain some of the things that were just the way they needed to be, other than there had to have been some grace. There were the right people in the right place so many times through the night.
To have the outcomes that we did, I mean, it's truly remarkable, truly a work of God and a work of all the team members that came together to help, from EMS to the police to ER to the OR.
I'm surrounded by heroes. I'll never forget this. For the rest of my life, I will never forget what they did.
We immediately made the decision to hold all the bills. And I think it's our culture of compassion in the organization.
One night that week, I went out and got in my car, and it was quiet. Like a wave of emotion hit me, and I realized that, everything that the counselors had been talking about was, for me.
It's when you're quiet and by yourself, that's when things get hard. And honestly, I have been seeing a counselor. It took me about a month to get to that point because I'm a strong surgeon. I'm confident, right? Not really, but I don't need help. That's for the residents and that's for the nursing staff. I was wrong.
The higher I get in leadership, the more I realize that there's hardly anything I can do on my own. The night of June 12th, Orlando Health received 44 victims within 2 hours and performed 28 surgeries. As of today, we performed 71 surgeries on these patients, and thanks to the skill of our clinical team and the grace of God, no patient has died since the early morning hours when this tragedy first occurred.
I think we all struggled with the notion of hate, manifesting in the way that it did. And I think the only way that I've been able to reconcile that for myself moving forward is just, I watched the opposite of that. I watched love and I watched compassion, I watched empathy in terms of how people cared for each other and supported each other and believed in each other. That, for me, will change me forever.
Eric, come over here. Come.
I can't really
We all got matching tattoos, and we just put them in different places, but...
We got him across the street from Pulse.
Don't stop being prepared. We talk about disasters, and you've seen a lot across the United States. You've seen a lot across the world. We've got to be prepared as a nation. Are you prepared? Are you ready? And stop the fluff stuff. Stop saying I have some policy that's 13 years old that's dusty on a shelf. As a hospital, you have that obligation. So are you ready?
Oh gosh, we have another drill. In the past, I've had that attitude. We all have that attitude, but it is of utmost importance. Without that planning, we wouldn't have had the chest tube to save patient X that had her chest tube here that now I saw in my office 2 weeks ago that's doing fine.
Everything is considered a blessing now to me. I got a second chance and I don't want to waste it.
I go there for my doctor's appointment, and every time I see it, I get flashbacks, but I get good flashbacks. I don't get crazy flashbacks or scary flashbacks. I was basically born again there.